Michael woke up at 7:16, just like always. No alarm needed. First, silence. Just the low hum of the fridge and the soft creak of wood in the walls, like the house was shifting along with him. Through the thin drywall, he could barely hear the neighbor's radio mumbling. It played 24/7, like a family curse passed down to fight the fear of silence. He got up, walked barefoot across the cold laminate floor to the kitchen, and started the coffee. The house smelled like nothing. Suburban air always felt flavorless, sterile. No rain, but the sky stretched gray and heavy. Oregon had a way of pressing down on you without drama. On the kitchen table, his laptop. He hadn't powered it off in weeks. Just closed the lid like a coffin, knowing he'd come back anyway. He opened it, expecting the same routine. 3 new emails from the freelance platform, one from his mom, and a couple of spam newsletters he couldn't unsubscribe from because, once, on a drunken night, he'd signed up for a daily dose of inspiration. But this time, something new, no sender name. The address, his own. Sent, July 2nd, 2025, 2:5:39 a.m. Received, June 18th, 2025, 2:7:19 a.m. He blinked. Read it again. At first he figured it was a server glitch, a delayed message stuck in some mail queue, finally arriving with a corrupted timestamp. He even opened the headers, like he'd learned in college, but the metadata matched. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Subject: just listen, this is serious. He opened it. Just plain text. If you're reading this, that means everything is still going according to plan. You're not crazy. This message is from you. 2 weeks from now. Don't try to look for proof. You won't find any. Just do exactly what I say. Today at 4:03 p.m., turn off the kettle. Don't think, just do it. At 5:40 p.m., don't go near the window. I know how this sounds. I didn't believe it either. But this all started with this email. You can't tell anyone, not even Mom, especially not her. If you start asking questions, it gets worse. Michael leaned back in his chair, heart pounding. Not from fear, but something else. That feeling when you know someone's watching you, but the room is empty. He rubbed his eyes. The message was still there. He couldn't remember the last time he spoke out loud. Maybe 2 days ago. He'd said thanks to the DoorDash guy, though the guy had earbuds in and didn't hear it. He opened his calendar. Today was June 18th, Tuesday. He double-checked the email. 4:03 p.m. Turn off the kettle. 5:40 p.m. Stay away from the window. But why? Psycho, or a prank, he muttered. His own voice sounded flat, like it didn't belong to him. He deleted the email, then pulled it from trash, then forwarded it to himself, just in case. Then wrote the times down on a slip of paper, no signature, like it was some kind of ritual. All day he felt watched, checked the clock every 5 minutes. He put the kettle on at 3, just like always, and turned it off at 4:03. Nothing weird happened. It didn't even boil. He just turned it off, for no reason. At 5:40 he sat in the far corner of the kitchen, facing away from the window. A motorcycle roared past outside, then a soft scrape of something. He didn't turn around. At 6:00 p.m. he finally looked. Out the window everything seemed normal. Quiet street, neat houses, symmetrical trees. But on the pavement, right by his front steps, a dead crow. Neck snapped. One black feather still twitching in the wind. The next day, Michael woke up a little later than usual. He didn't go straight to the laptop. He just lay there on the couch, wrapped in the soft gray of morning, listening to the silence in the house. His thoughts swirled like warm water down a sink, slow, pointless, thick. What if it was just a prank? Or a virus? Someone mimicking his tone, his writing? Could an AI have done it? He stood up, walked to the laptop. The email was already there. Subject: if you don't listen, I won't come back. Sent. July 3rd. Received, June 19th, 6:41 a.m. You did it. You listened, and you lived. If you're reading this now, it means we're still connected. That's good, but you're still too close to the drop-off point. You still want to ask questions. Still looking for meaning. Stop. Today you'll get a phone call at 12:43 p.m. Don't answer it. No exceptions. At 2 p.m., lie down. Not on the couch, on the bed. No phone, no screens, no thoughts. Just lie there. 7 minutes. Even if it feels pointless, especially if it feels pointless, keep going. It matters. At 9:18 p.m., don't open the door, no matter who knocks, even if it's a neighbor, even if it's the police. Do not open. Michael sat at the table, eyes locked on the screen, fingers resting on the keyboard, not typing, just touching it, like reading Braille, as if he could feel the message. He set 3 alarms. 12:43. Don't answer the call. 1:59. Lie down on the bed. 9:17. Stay away from the door. He wrote each phrase on yellow sticky notes and stuck them to the monitor. And suddenly, he felt lighter. Not because he believed, but because he didn't want to doubt anymore. There was peace and surrender. 12:43 p.m. The phone rang. Just like the email said. Michael stared at it like it was a venomous bug. Unknown number. The screen pulsed with light. He turned away. The ringing went on longer than usual. Each second felt like a hammer tap down his spine. Then, voicemail. He didn't listen, just deleted it. His hands shook, but he smiled. For the first time in days. 1:59 p.m. He put away the laptop early, turned off the lights, made sure there were no screens nearby, left the phone in the kitchen, powered off, then walked to the bedroom, laid down. At first it felt stupid, then unsettling. He tried to think nothing, like the message said, but strange words bubbled up in his mind, not in his voice. It was like something whispering from inside. You always listen. That's why you're still alive, but there's always a price. He didn't know if 7 minutes had passed. He'd taken off his watch. He just lay there. And at some point, he slipped into a black void. Not sleep, not a vision, just pressure. When he opened his eyes, the hallway clock read 2:08 p.m. He stood up, stared at his reflection in the dark monitor screen, and thought, what if I just avoided dying? 9:18 p.m. The evening dragged like syrup. He didn't eat, didn't turn on the TV, just sat in silence. By noon, he'd turned off all the lights, placed a chair near the front door, but not too close, and sat down, eyes closed. 9:18. 3 knocks, sharp, steady, not loud, not soft, like someone who knew exactly how to be let in. Michael gripped the arms of the chair, no sound, no movement. Another knock, twice this time. Then a voice, male, calm, no accent, neutral and smooth. Michael West, this is Officer Bailey. We need to ask you a few questions. Michael didn't move. The voice was too clean, like it had been stitched together, not spoken by a human, but generated. We know you're home, sir. Please open the door. It won't take more than a minute. He remembered the message. Even if it's the police, don't open it. He didn't open it. 5 minutes passed, then silence. Michael stayed there. For a long time. Until midnight. He didn't know what was worse, the idea that someone had been on the other side of that door, or the thought that maybe no one was. On the 4th morning, Michael woke up with a sharp pain in his neck. He'd fallen asleep hunched over at the kitchen table, still in the chair, the laptop open in front of him. The screen was still glowing, stuck on the inbox tab. A new email had already arrived. Sent, July 5th. Received, June 23rd, 5:11 a.m. Subject, you want to quit. This is how it starts. You're starting to doubt. That's okay, we all do at some point. Today you'll get a notification from your bank. Don't check it. Trust me. It's a lie. They want to pull your attention away. At 4:20 p.m., shut off the internet for 10 minutes, completely. Kill the router, turn off Wi-Fi. Don't ask why. Just do it. If you don't, I won't be able to send tomorrow's message. Not because I don't want to, because I literally won't be able to. There'll be too much noise. And Michael, if you think you can pick and choose when to listen, you've already lost. Michael read it with his mouth dry as dust. The tone had shifted. Sharper now, more like a warning, almost parental. Like the voice of his mother when he refused to finish his dinner as a kid. He shut the inbox, closed the laptop, walked to the hallway mirror, stared at himself. Dark circles under his eyes. A faint imprint of the keyboard on his cheek. He looked like someone who had been trained, domesticated. And then something inside of him snapped. Enough. I've followed every step. I deserve at least one answer. He reopened the laptop, checked his banking app. There it was, a notification. Suspicious activity detected. Please confirm your recent login. He froze. For a second, it felt like there was someone watching him from behind the message. He closed the tab. His palms were sweating. 4:18 p.m. He stood in front of the router, timer ticking, shut off the internet for 10 minutes. That's it. Easy. But he couldn't do it. Something inside rebelled, quietly, but firmly. For the first time he thought, no, even God has to explain why he asks for a sacrifice. 4:20 p.m. He didn't shut it off. 4:23 p.m. The laptop screen glitched, just for a second, static. A single line of text flickered and vanished. He didn't catch it. 4:24 p.m., the inbox froze, then restarted. Then, every message disappeared. All of them, not just the recent ones. All of them. Michael froze. The world seemed to fall silent. He tried recovering the messages. Nothing. No history. He clicked, sent. There was one item, a draft, dated July 5th. Sender, himself. Recipient, himself. The message. You didn't listen. I can't reach you anymore. I told you. The interference makes it impossible. You're on your own now. Take care if that's still an option. I'm sorry. Or maybe, I'm not. He read it over and over. It wasn't a threat. It was a farewell. Like someone who had been holding the rope for you all along. Just let go. Chiming. He sat in complete silence. Phone off. Internet on, but untouched. No one knocked at 9:18 p.m. And somehow that was worse, because it meant only one thing. He wasn't interesting anymore. For the first time in days, Michael cried. No sound, no sobbing. Just sat there as the tears slid down his cheeks, because something inside had broken, and no one was coming to fix it. The first thing he did the next morning was check his inbox. Nothing. He refreshed the page. 5 times. 10. Still nothing. No emails. No traces. Not even spam. He pulled up the server logs, staring at columns and code like a sailor studying navigational charts, hoping to spot a familiar signal buried in the noise. Nothing. Out of desperation, he tried sending himself a message, for the first time. Subject, please answer. Message. I don't know what I did wrong, if you're still out there. Give me a sign. I'll fix it. I'll shut off the internet. I'll do anything. He scheduled the email for July 6th, set to deliver 14 days into the future. For a moment, he felt something strange. Like he'd become the very thing he feared. The one who sends, not receives. The days that followed. He started living by guesswork. Made a daily routine, the kind future him might have written. 7:01 a.m. Wake up, 8:01 a.m. Check the windows, 9:01 a.m. Don't eat anything red, 10:30 a.m. Don't touch tap water, 2:01 p.m. Lie down, no thoughts. He wrote it all in a notebook, each entry marked. Estimated significance, 60%. Risk if broken, unknown. It wasn't a plan. It was a ritual. A spell to summon the signal back. The day something snapped, 11 days. No emails. On the 12th day he heard a voice. Not a full conversation, just a sentence. From the wall. Or a neighbor's TV. Or maybe straight into his head. I can't reach you if you keep doing what you're doing. He jolted upright. Froze. The echo still trembled in the air. He tore through the apartment, checked every speaker, every outlet. Nothing. Even the old ex-military neighbor who always had his TV blasting wasn't home. Michael stood in the center of the room, closed his eyes. You're still here, right? Please, just one sign. He opened his inbox, Still empty. Opened a text editor. Started writing, to himself, a new message. Long, almost like a confession. I don't know if you're you or if you're me, but if you're reading this, that means I'm still here. I did everything right. I followed the rules. I stayed quiet. I didn't look out the windows. I don't know what I broke, maybe everything. Maybe I just wasn't the one. But if you're reading this, please don't go silent. Silence is worse than any instruction. I'm not okay. He hit send. The message vanished, and then, the laptop shut off, all by itself. Black screen, dead silence, and in the reflection, his own face. But not quite. Gaunt, sunken, eyes hollowed out. He stared at it, and he finally understood. There would be no more letters, because now, the whole chain, the whole loop, was him, and he had become the one who writes the first message. Only now, no one was left to answer. The apartment hadn't changed. Same crooked lampshade, same cracked window blinds, same wall clock where the second hand always ticked just a bit too fast. But inside Michael, everything was already dead. All that remained was reflex, muscle memory. He no longer tried to reconnect. No more hoping, no more fear, no more waiting. He understood now. It was his turn. Siamo letters. At once. He sat down at the laptop and opened a blank document. Silence, and then, like a switch flipping inside, something kicked on. A broken projector sputtering to life. And he started writing, all the letters, one after another, as if he'd already read them, as if he was the one who had trembled, hesitated, turned off the kettle, stayed away from the window, laid down in silence, and waited for a sign. He wrote, the letter about the kettle, the one about lying in bed for 7 minutes, the warning about the call he shouldn't answer, the instruction to shut off the internet exactly at 4:20 p.m., and then, that letter, the one where he'd failed, the one where he broke the cycle. He stopped, stared at the screen, took a breath, and rewrote it, differently this time. Softer, clearer, more human. He wanted his past self not to feel threatened, not to read it as a command. He wanted to hold himself steady, because he knew this was the one. The point where everything always fell apart. Every cycle, every failure, started here. He sent them all. 14 letters, 1 per day, each scheduled in sequence. Letter 1, tomorrow. Letter 2, the day after, and so on. When it was done, the room went still. He didn't feel proud or scared, just exhausted. The stupid ending. He sat on the edge of the bed, popped a minty stick of gum into his mouth, chewed absent-mindedly, staring at the screen. He didn't notice the breath catch, didn't realize the swallow never finished. One awkward gasp, and it went wrong. He stood too fast, hit the corner of the table, hands clawing at his shirt collar, eyes wide, panicking, but no one saw, no one heard. 30 seconds, he collapsed. 1 minute, no more air. 3 minutes, no heartbeat. That's how the cycle ended. Again. Or maybe that was the whole point. Not to warn himself about madness or destiny, but something stupid, like gum. So dumb, so trivial. You'd never believe it. Not until it kills you. And every time, he tries again. In each new loop, 14 messages, new wording, new hope. That maybe this time he'll get it right. That he'll stay focused. That he won't slip. That he won't die from something so random. But so far, he never has. The final line in the sent folder, there will be messages again. One after another. Terse. Urgent. Full of rules. To himself. From the future. Trying to save himself from a ridiculous, meaningless death. But this time, just like last time, letter 8, the one about shutting off the internet, will come off too harsh. And past Michael will decide he's had enough, and it will all start over, until one day, he makes it through, all the way to the end. If you made it all the way to the end, Then you're exactly the kind of person I'm looking for. Hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. I hope I can keep bringing you more stories, to make you smile, or maybe, to scare you.